My name is Mr. Black from the BSL Investment Company Limited, the official owners of BSL Schools Tanzania and BSL Schools Rwanda. Here today, I'm going to speak with the owners of the schools and the CEOs of the schools, being our principal, directors, and any kind of owner of a school. Our today's sessions belongs to you perfectly. And here I'm just going to speak about the tips on schools marketing. Tips on schools marketing. Take your time just right over now, learning and getting some materials, some sort of things that could help you to enrich your schools in the highest goals. If you learn a lot from me on what I'm going to present to you today, will take you in a highest level of performance, highest level of marketing strategies, highest level of your school to be somewhere with a great number of the students. And here today, I'm going to give you some tips on marketing for your school. Then, as we know that if you want to grow up a school, you need to have a great number of students, and sometimes you need to have some of the materials that makes your school better more than others. And here, I've got some tips that I'm going to mention. Just to start with the first one here, I'm just going to tell you about the customer care. Customer caring always matters a lot. How do you respond politely to your customers? So as a school owner, as your school staff, they are supposed to be very polite in what we call customer caring. Then how do you train your office? How do you train your staff? Training to your staff on how to make customer care and how to make customer satisfaction matters a lot. So if you want your school to grow in a marketing strategy, you need to have what we call customer caring strategies, and your customer caring must go together with what we call satisfaction. You need to satisfy your customer in order to get them in a high number. Then again, if you want your school to grow higher, if you want to have good marketing strategies with your school, you sometimes need to partner with school feeders. We need to have some feeders. This is another marketing strategies. If you have feeder schools, here I may be speaking, if it's a primary school, you own a primary school, you need to have feeder schools. Those are nursery schools, daycare centers that are not around there. They are not owning the primary school. So you'll be using that opportunity. You get some students from the nursery schools, from the daycares, then you feed them to your school. As you get some contract with them, you get closer with them, you get engaged with them, then they'll be bringing some students to you for the next levels. If you are owning a secondary school, you need to keep attached with primary schools, private or government schools, which have got no secondary schools. So if you do that, then you get many students to your school. And sometimes if it's a college, you need to be well organized with the secondary schools that will be feeding the students from their schools as O-level or advanced. Then they'll be taking their students to your school at the highest level or college level. And here, I would like to take you to the third tip, marketing strategies. As I said before, the tips to the marketing strategies and the tips for the school growth, marketing ways and how you're supposed to do. Number 3, here I would like to tell you about academic performance and discipline. Academic performance and discipline. If you want to grow up your school, you need to have great academic performance. In whatever that you'll be doing academically, we need to see you in a smart way. Most of the schools, they do fail, and sometimes others, they do close their schools just because they have no good performance. When you have good performance, then expectedly, you may have a great number of students into your school. So you really need to maintain the academic performance. How? Firstly, by doing many exams. Examination results bring us into people's consciousness. People get to know us. People get to learn about us. People get to speak about us. Then we'll be within their hearts, will be there in their minds. And by doing so, there you'll get your school with many students. And out of that, you need to maintain discipline. Any school with a discipline conquers the number for students. If a school has no discipline, the wearing style, the responding style, the way we act, the way we react, the behavior of the students, what they do, how polite are they, how humble are they, how well disciplined are they. You have to make sure that as a school owner, you need to have ability to maintain your school's behavior. When you do that, then things will be nice. How do you share your achievements honestly and positively? Some of the school owners, they do share their success in a bad language, impolite language. Some they do insult others. Some of them they do undervalue others. They underestimate others. Never be so. You just be straight to what you're doing. You thank God for what good you have. Then you thank God for what lower stage that you have. You sometimes grow in a slow steps that sometimes in some days to come, you'll be in a good and right way. Dear brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, other school owners, I would like to remind you about the other way or the other tip on marketing strategies for your school growth. This is all about open days and school visiting. As a school owner, you need to launch some open days. When you launch out the open days for your school, it sometimes introduces your school to a number of people, to a huge number of people who are going to visit your school every day. Here, I may be speaking about some activities that that should be there concerned with your school. And here, you may allow the visitors to see your classes, to see your kids, how are they doing, to see your students' activities, to see the environment, the general environment of the school. And sometimes here, they may be asking the questions about your service. They may be meeting the teachers, and sometimes here we do say first impression matters a lot. First impressions matters a lot. When you pay a visit at a certain place, you get attracted with that place. So if you allow the people to come to school, they'll get to see how good you are. But make sure you are well organized, you are well planned, and you have some very special activities that could take their heart, they could take their mind into a positive way to invest into your school, to bring their kids into your schools. So, then out of that, I would like to remind you about the other marketing tip for your school. It's all about social engagement. How are you involved with our community? Community engagement or social involvement needs you highly. As you know that the surrounding environment, that is our community or that's our society, needs to see you how well are you engaged. If some challenge that happens in those surroundings, how are you supporting them? How are you sponsoring them? How are you partnering with them? If you partner with them, then they get close to you. They get to see how kindly you are, how humble you are. Then they get close to you. They push your things, they push your marketing strategies, and sometimes they give you many students, even out of their surroundings. So if you want to grow higher, you need to do that. And sometimes, how do you participate on social events, religious events, political events sometimes? Any kind of social events, you need to be there. Support them, engage with them, then you'll get some good results. Just for today, I would like to remind you about the other tip, that is professional marketing materials. Professional marketing materials. Most of the schools, they have few marketing materials. When they market their schools, they do lack some sort of things that may be a full testimony for their school outlook, for their school visibility, for their school performance. So when you approach the customers for the marketing, you need to have what we call professional marketing materials. What are those? You need to have posters. You need to have brochures, you need to have some sort of banners. When you go for the event, you have roll-up banners, drop-back banners, and sometimes you need to have those brochures, flyers. You just supplement to the people. When they get to read, they get to see, they get to learn about your services, your activities, and what you have within your compound. So I just beg you, dear school owners, the school directors, you need to have those materials as the professional ones. Then within those brochures or posters, they need to have some areas that tells about the school, especially the school name. And out of school name, they need to show about the location and contacts, and then classes offered, services offered, and sometimes you have to tell about the key strengths, Once you have those brochures and flyers, you need to place them in public areas. If you have brochures, you have to place them in churches, in the public shops, at the places where there is always gathering, places where people visit, places where people pay a visit a lot of time, they get to pass there. So you need to place them in some areas like mosques, and there are some offices that people always visit. So if you want to be well seen by the public, you need to publish yourself. You need to put your flyers, your brochures everywhere where people can visit you. Just for today, I'd like to remind you about the last marketing tip for your school, and this is strong presence on social media. We are on the global world where social media pays everything. So for your school growth, you need to engage yourself in social media. How are you engaged with Facebook, WhatsApp, or Instagram? Sometimes TikTok and other social media, social networks. You really need to be there. As a school owner, you need to promote your academic services to those social networks. How do you post the school activities? Some programs that are run within your schools, events, assemblies, graduation parts, like I can say, examination success, you need to share them. You need to create, you have to make good video clips, you need to make some good pictures, you need to post some well-organized pictures, very illustrative videos, and with a clean outlook. You need to have a good camera, you need to have a photographer or videographer, sometimes a graphic designer for your posters, for your school. If you do that, then your school becomes more smarter. So I really need to see you higher from that step that you are. If you own more than 200 students, then I want to see you owning more than 1,000 students. If you have 1,000 students, it's very possible to have more than 3,000 students. If you start today, change your marketing strategies, engage in social media, engage in social activities, make sure customer care is high, make sure your performance is good. Then again, you need to have professional marketing materials. By doing that, your school will be peculiar and will be at the peak all the time. May God bless you, because your wish always is there. And I'm so sure that you have a will, then the way is coming. God bless you. Have a nice